My brother Marcus bought a new TV last month, 85 inches. It's hanging on the wall in his living room, right next to the 75-inch one he bought 2 years ago. The old one is still there. Marcus has always made good money, and yet every time we talk, he says the same thing.
Layla, the money just disappears. I don't even know where it goes.
I know where it goes. I see it every time I visit him. A stationary bike in the hallway, still set to the resistance level from day one. A sous vide machine on the counter he used twice before deciding he's not that kind of cook. A standing desk still in the box, leaning against the wall in his bedroom. A garage that holds everything except a car. None of those purchases looked ridiculous at the time. That's the interesting part. Nobody wakes up one morning and decides to waste money. Most purchases arrive disguised as a good idea, a convenience, an upgrade, a reward, something you deserve, and for a little while, they even feel that way. Then life moves on. The excitement leaves. The object stays. Marcus doesn't have an income problem. He has a hidden cost problem. And that hidden cost problem follows 10 very specific rules. Rules most people never learn. Rules I had to figure out the hard way. Let's start with what's happening in Marcus's hallway. Rule number 1. Every purchase has 2 prices. Most people think the cost of something is whatever they paid at the register. But every object has 2 prices. The first price gets all the attention. The second price quietly follows you home. The stationary bike cost Marcus around $800. That seemed like a reasonable investment in his health. But that isn't the expensive part anymore. The expensive part is that it's still standing there, year after year, blocking the hallway he always says feels too narrow. Every month he pays for that space, simply because it's there. The purchase price is only the beginning. The real cost is the story that continues afterwards. Rule number 2. You don't just buy things, you keep them. A lot of the things we own aren't costing us because we bought them. They're costing us because we keep them. Ownership is an ongoing commitment, not a one-time transaction. Every object you hold on to is a decision you're making, again and again, without realizing it. Rule number 3. Clutter is not a space problem. It's an attention problem. People think clutter is a space problem. It isn't. It's an attention problem. Every object quietly asks something from you. Store me, move me, clean me, organize me, fix me, decide what to do with me. One object isn't much. A household full of them is something else entirely. The mental weight of your possessions is real, even when you're not looking at them. Rule number 4. Idle money has an opportunity cost. There's a cost nobody sees, the money itself, the stationary bike, the sous vide machine, the standing desk still in the box. All of that money could have been doing something else, growing, compounding, buying options, buying time, buying freedom. Instead, it's holding up a hallway wall. Every dollar you spend on something you don't use is a dollar that stopped working for you. That's the cost nobody puts on the receipt. Rule number 5, lifestyle creep works quietly, one purchase at a time. That's why Marcus always feels broke. Not because he spends recklessly, because his spending follows a pattern. Every raise becomes permission. Every bonus becomes an upgrade. Every improvement becomes the new normal. And once something becomes normal, it stops feeling expensive. That's how lifestyle creep works. Not dramatically, quietly. I'll be honest with you. Marcus isn't the only one who's been there. A few years ago, I walked into a home goods store for dish soap. I left with a $340 coffee table book, a set of linen napkins I was absolutely certain would change my life, and a ceramic bowl I described to myself as an investment in my space. I stood at the register feeling like I was finally becoming the person I wanted to be. I used the napkins twice. The book lives on a shelf I don't look at. The bowl holds my keys. The difference between me and Marcus isn't that I never fall for it. It's that I now have a name for what was happening. So here's what I actually do now. Rules 6 through 10. These aren't things I read somewhere. They're things I tested on myself. Rule number 6. Think in cost per use, not purchase price. I stopped thinking in purchase price. I started thinking in cost per use. If I buy a $180 pair of boots and wear them 3 times, those boots cost me $60 every time I put them on. But a $280 bag I carry every day for 3 years costs me less than 30 cents a day. The price tag is almost irrelevant. What matters is how many times something actually shows up in your life. I now ask myself before any significant purchase, how many times will I realistically use this? That one question has saved me more money than any budget spreadsheet I ever made. Rule number 7. Wait 7 days before you buy anything over $50. I moved to a 7-day rule for anything over $50. About 80% of the things I wanted on Monday, I had completely forgotten about by Sunday. Not changed my mind about, forgotten. That told me everything I needed to know. The waiting period also separates the feeling of wanting from the object itself. We think we want the thing. Often we just want the feeling of getting something new, and that feeling fades in about 72 hours, whether you bought the thing or not. Rule number 8, don't upgrade anything that still does its job. There's a moment most of us know well. Something you own still works perfectly, but a newer version exists, and suddenly the thing you loved last week feels inadequate. That feeling has a name: induced dissatisfaction. It is quite literally a business model. Companies don't just sell you the new thing. They first have to make you unhappy with the old thing. I made a simple rule. I don't upgrade anything that still does its job. My laptop is 4 years old. It works. My phone is 2 years old. Same logic. The money I'm not spending on upgrades I don't need is quietly sitting somewhere far more useful. Rule number 9. Be honest about how much of your home is actually storage. I used to think of my apartment as living space. Then I realized how much of it was actually storage. The closet shelf I couldn't reach. The box under the bed I hadn't opened in 2 years. The kitchen cabinet that required unpacking half of it to get to anything. I was paying rent on a storage unit I happened to also sleep in. So I asked one question about every single item. If I were moving tomorrow, would I pay to transport this? The answer for roughly a third of my possessions was no. I donated what had value. Let go of the rest. I didn't miss any of it. What I noticed instead was that my apartment felt quieter. That quietness was mental. Less to manage meant more room to think. Rule number 10. Define what enough looks like. For you, not for anyone else. This one was the most personal. Not for Marcus, not for anyone I follow online. For me. What kind of home do I actually need to feel good? What wardrobe genuinely serves my life? What level of comfort is real? And what's just performance? Most of us never ask those questions. We just keep adding. Because more always feels like progress. But more isn't progress. More is just more. When I wrote out what enough actually looked like, I realized I was already very close to it. Almost everything I still wanted was for other people's eyes, not my own life. That was uncomfortable to admit, and also completely freeing. Marcus is slowly learning this too. The 75-inch TV is still at his place. It's sitting at the end of the hallway now. Every time I visit, I walk past it. And every time I do, I think the same thing. That television isn't a reminder of wasted money. It's a reminder of a lesson most people never learn. 10 rules. Most people never hear them. Not because they're complicated, because nobody teaches you this, except Layla.